What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are jumping into Task Force Z. This will be issue number 2. And what we have seen so far is the Suicide Squad really be taken to another level, now having Lazarus pills. They give these pills to individuals, bring them back to life, using Lazarus resin to resurrect old Suicide Squad members. Now they can use them to their benefit. The biggest kicker to all of this being, if they do not get their medicine, that they turn into mindless, flesh-eating zombies at the snap of a finger. And at the end of the last issue, that's exactly what we see happening. We see our Arkham Knight slowly making her way towards Red Hood as he is frozen solid in place. Now, if you didn't catch issue number 1, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on the entire first issue. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, Red Hood is in an absolute panic right now. After their fight with Mr. Freeze, he finds himself completely stuck in place. But with his chest out, his head able to look around, he sees the Arkham Knight directly heading for him. And we have Red Hood calling out to anybody who will listen, trying to see if Mr. Bloom is out there anywhere, in current communications with Crispin. And right now, Red Hood, he is absolutely pleading for his life, begging anyone to help him, because right now he is frozen solid, and there is nothing he can do to stop the Arkham Knight. With both Bane and Man-Bat currently dead, Bloom is MIA, and we see Red Hood barely be able to move his arm hard enough to be able to electrocute Arkham Knight when she gets close and is about to eat his freaking brains. Picking up elsewhere inside of this factory, we have Mr. Bloom catching up to Mr. Freeze. Now, what Bloom tells him is that it looks like you could use some help. It looks like you might be dying, and I have a cure for that. But this is not saying that Bloom and Freeze are on the same team. With him taking Lazarus pills, he shoves them down the throat of Mr. Freeze. And so it appears that Bloom has his own agenda set aside from everything that is currently going on. But with Red Hood barely able to keep the Arkham Knight off of him, this is where we see the arrival of Bloom coming in here and throwing some Lazarus resin pills onto the ground, and the Arkham Knight goes chasing after them. Because again, this is an addiction. This is something that they have to have, they need to have to stay alive. And so using this as bait, it gives Bloom the opportunity to go over and help out Red Hood. Now, Jason Todd, he has to admit that he believed that Bloom had simply left them. Asking where Mr. Freeze is, Bloom says that Mr. Freeze was able to get away. Because of the power dampener on him, he only has so much ability. Really just playing that role of saying, you know, the best I can do is come rescue everybody when things go sideways. Obviously, we know that he has an ulterior motive. He has an ulterior agenda. And we're slowly through this series going to find out exactly what Bloom is playing in his back pocket. Now, that is what's going to take us back to the Chop Shop, aka Task Force Z's headquarters, aka prison. And with them coming off of their mission, Jason Todd has a conversation with Crispin through a tablet. And really, he's telling Crispin that he quits, that he's simply not going to do this nightmare experiment that they have going on. It's obviously a failure. There is obviously no controlling this team when they are out in the field. And Jason Todd lets him know, I get what you're trying to do here, but at the end of the day, there is no way that you can control literal monsters. Crispin had sworn to him that there would be absolutely no killing. The only thing is, these things are eating everybody. And as Jason Todd walks down the hallway, he walks into a laboratory room where we have both Man-Bat and Bane being brought back to life. And this really puts him in an absolute disbelief, not being able to understand how they were even able to come back from that. And they let Jason Todd know that they are really only experiencing the tip of the iceberg of what this Lazarus resin can do. As long as their heads remain intact, they're able to bring them back to life. And Jason has to ask, like, don't you think the world would be much better off if we simply did not do that? But at the end of the day, these guys are scientists, and so they're not going to stop until it literally comes back to bite them in the butt. Now, right now, they can hear them. But the thing is, without a full dosage, it's really anyone's guess on what they can fully comprehend. And they don't give them a full dosage because then they would be back to life, back to their horrible normal selves, and they probably wouldn't be working here. They probably would not be part of this little team. Now, while this is all going on, while they're having this conversation, the good doctor, she goes to inject Jason Todd, trying to hit him with the serum. He stops her and he tells her, if you ever try that again, I promise you, you're gonna know why people think I'm scary. And with him walking out of the laboratory, this is when he runs into the Arkham Knight. Now she is mostly healed up because of her treatment. She has come to talk to him because really she feels bad about everything that happened, about her literally trying to eat his brains. And really it's a side effect of them metabolizing the resin faster during strenuous activity. Now, right now, she looks pretty alive, and that's because of how much Lazarus resin they had to give her to rejuvenate her legs, so that her legs would grow back. And we really see not necessarily a spark going on here, but we can tell that Jason Todd, he kind of has the hots for Astrid. Even though she technically is a zombie, he's kind of got a thing for her. But of course, Crispin listening in, Jason Todd tells him as she walks away that he is not going to do this anymore until he can have somebody he knows will watch his back. Somebody who is alive who can handle this situation. And so with them heading out on their next mission, this is where we see the newest member of the team, that member being Sundowner. Now at this point, Jason Todd really has no idea who she is, wondering why she is even on this team, wondering what she is even doing here. Crispin tells him that he needs to be nice because she is here on the request of Crispin himself. But right now, Jason Todd, he's not overly concerned about who she is. Not so much as he is worried about what they are doing, why they are here, and who are they meeting. And Crispin lets him know that he thought he would let it be a surprise. And when they open up the doors, it definitely is a surprise. But it's not simply one person, it is the entirety of the Cobra cult. All of its followers sitting here worshiping, saying that they have risen from the dead. We see Man-Bat jump into action, and Task Force Z follows quickly behind. All of them getting in here and just laying waste to every one of these cult members. And we are seeing our team throw members left and right, but there are so many of them. Red Hood is letting Crispin know that they are getting overrun. There are simply too many of them. But we see Bane and he is just letting loose. Absolutely nobody being able to stand in his way. He is grabbing guys and just beating other guys with them. And in the midst of him fighting, he jumps up and he slams down on one of these cultists, jumping and hitting on the ground so hard that he falls all the way through down to the basement. And so by all accounts, it looks like Bane is down, with Red Hood having a bunch of cultists around him. He takes his batons, he jabs them into the ground, and he electrocutes everybody in his vicinity. And this gives him the opportunity to run over to the lights and shut them off, with Sundowner saying that she fights better in the night. With the power going offline, we see her other side arise. The darkness comes out of her, and she starts clearing out cultists like it is absolutely nothing, saying that Hannah has lived at Arkham ever since before Arkham Knight was born. She checked herself in decades ago, before even her father had been there. This power, it keeps her from aging. It lives in the darkness. She lives in the light. Too much of either of them, and one of them takes over control. And with the last of the cultists being taken down, this is when Red Hood, he goes over and he flips on the lights, flips it off, and we see the transformation back into Hannah. And as they walk into a back room, it appears that Bloom has found a coffin who has Deadshot inside of it. and right now it looks like he is dead. And with Red Hood walking out of the room, letting Crispin know that he is coming to him and they are going to have a little talk. And as he goes to yell his grievances, this is when we all hear a gunshot, with Deadshot sitting up, his pistol drawn. He shot Jason Todd directly in his back. Jason Todd taking this bullet, he drops down to the ground, and we see the death of Red Hood. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm personally not hating this issue. I'm not disliking this line whatsoever. It is definitely a different approach to go. I do like the fact that they are using Red Hood for all of this, because at the end of the day, well, a while back he may have talked about not shooting, not killing anymore. He's in a whole different playground now. Not only that, we just saw him shot in the back, which means he is now going to need Lazarus resin to stay alive. They are now going to have him under their thumb, because up to this point, it's relatively been voluntary for him, though he found himself in jail after going too far, and this is really his road to redemption. This is him getting an offer to be able to do something on a much larger scale. And while he has supported it for the most part, he also thinks that this is just absolute freaking lunacy that we're using zombies and trying to go out on mission like there was going to be any kind of success rate. But now that he is going to be one of them, I think that is going to change the story drastically. And we're going to have to see how this affects him, since Red Hood has come back from the dead already once before. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.